Welcome to NASCAR America Splash and Go. I'm your host, Nate Ryan, here with Jeff Burton at NASCAR Plaza, where today the 2020 Cup schedule was unveiled. Jeff, just your general impressions, a lot of changes for next year.
Short tracks in the playoffs, man. That's the first thing that jumps out at me. You have three short tracks in the playoffs, in addition to ISM as the final race. And, you know, to me, that's what fans have said they wanted to see. You have three short tracks, a road course, a historic race in Darlington. The playoffs are just awesome, incredible cutoff races on top of that. So, and Daytona, the last race in the regular season before the playoffs. This is the best schedule that I've seen so far in regard to the playoffs.
Let's start with the final race, ISM Raceway. You mentioned replacing Homestead Miami Speedway. Why do you like that as the championship finale? So
Homestead's been awesome. I mean, Homestead's been they've done an incredible job. The city has welcomed it. But the racing on the track has been incredible. So if it's going to go somewhere else, it has to go to a track that has the opportunity to have those kind of races. And I think Phoenix ISM is one of those racetracks. And with the new racetrack, the reconfigured facility, that's an awesome place. But you have to have a racetrack that's going to give you the best shot for a quality race. And I think ISM is one of those tracks.
And the cut races, two of them are new now in the playoffs in 2020. We've still got the Roval as the middle round. Yep. Well, actually, that was the first round in 2018 and this year, but it'll be middle round next year. To end the first round, you have Bristol. To end the third round, you have Martinsville.
Yeah.
So it feels to me as if there's some design here that when everything is on the line, you're going to three tracks where things can be really unpredictable.
Yeah, and so, when I think about cutoff races, I just think about with drivers finding a way to make something happen. But then you put them on racetracks where they can push the issue and they can make things happen and moving people out of the way, aggressive driving. I'm not a guy that believes in just wrecking people. That's not what I'm saying. But aggressive racing is what we want to see. That's what we want to see. And the drivers want to do it. You know what I mean? So, yes, I think it's huge, the cutoff races. I mean, Martinsville as the last race to go to Phoenix with a chance to win a championship. And also, I don't think it should be left out, Darlington.
Right.
So round one, Darlington, Southern 500, extremely historic racetrack, history of NASCAR, that's it. Then you go to Richmond, a short track.
Right.
You go to Bristol, a short track. Round one, to me, is just an incredible first round.
I mean, you mentioned it at the outset, Jeff. Now you have three short tracks in the playoffs in Richmond, Bristol to end the first round, Martinsville to set up the championship finale in Phoenix. 3 mile-and-a-half ovals now. That's fewer, I think, than they've ever had in the history of the 10-race playoffs. Do you like that switch and balancing it out better?
I do, and I like it because, I think that's what fans want to see. Listen, and moving the race to ISM plays into that as well. I think it's important for our series to move the playoffs around a little bit, to not let teams get comfortable, not let teams plan ahead and say, this is going to work just for us. And I think moving the races really helps do that, and shifting all the races, not just Phoenix, I think is a real factor. And then, we do run a lot of mile-and-a-halves, right? So in the third round, you got Kansas and Texas both that are mile-and-a-halves in that last round. But it follows up with Martinsville. So I just think it's a great mix.
And you mentioned having Daytona move from its traditional July 4th weekend. It's been there for roughly 6 decades. It goes to now late August and sets up who will race for the championship starting at Darlington. Why do you think, we heard Steve O'Donnell say drivers and teams lobbied for this. And I think it's obvious why. I mean, Daytona presents, I think, more of an opportunity for a wild card, for somebody to break through and make that final 10.
So one of the best drives I've seen since I've started commentating is Brad Keselowski at Talladega. Must-win situation. He made it happen. He was exceptionally aggressive. He did everything he had to do to win that race and move on to the next round. So I think about that in regard to teams making the playoffs. So then my brain goes to stage racing.
Right.
Okay, so we tend to think about winning to get yourself into the playoffs, but people have to point themselves in as well. So now you're going to have this incredible battle between, internally, this battle of how aggressive do I want to go? How many points do I have to get in stage one, stage two? Because there's going to be people racing for points. And if the guy you're racing for points, he's up there aggressive trying to earn those stage points, you're going to have to do the same thing. So it's more at Daytona than just who's going to win the race. It's who can earn those stage points and what strategy is it going to take to make that happen. That's going to make that Daytona race unbelievable. Every stage end is going to be like the finish of the race.
Right.
Because points are going to matter.
Well, we saw it last month in the Daytona 500. We've seen it at the end of stages. Actually, the last couple of years at Daytona, there have been some big wrecks that are happening in that track when there's a lot on the line.
Yeah, and listen, that's plate racing, and that's the thing. To be honest, that's the thing that when stage racing was first introduced, I woke up in the middle of the night one night and I went, oh no, they're going to be stage racing at Daytona and Talladega, right?
Yeah.
And now that gets intensified that much more. And the drivers are going to have to be, this is where, you're going to have this internal battle of, what am I willing to do in stage one and stage two, which may take me out of an opportunity to have a good finish, but I can't give up points. And I mean, pit strategy, track position, how aggressive am I going to be as a driver, restarts, everything is going to be magnified at that race, more so than other races because everybody's going to be in a pack. I mean, it's not like, we talk about that at other cut races, but it's harder to make it happen. If you're a driver at Martinsville, you drive your car as hard as it can go, right? My car won't turn in the middle. Well, at Daytona, they all kind of run the same speed, and that's going to make that race just crazy.
I want to hit two more things with you, Jeff. In the regular season, Pocono will have a doubleheader end of June, back-to-back Cup races, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, is that unprecedented for you? You've been around NASCAR for a long time. Have they ever run Cup races on consecutive days that you can remember?
I ran late model stock car doubleheaders. We'd run double point doubleheader night.
Right.
And the other thing about Pocono, think about this. So there's ARCA race, there's Xfinity race, there's truck race, and there's 2 Cup races.
5 days of racing.
You can see 5 races in just a few days. So that to me makes that race even that much more special. And then from a team standpoint, what if you unload on day one of practice and you're no good, right?
It's gonna be a long weekend.
You don't get a month, right? You don't get a month to say, okay, we're going to be better for Pocono when we come back. You're going to race tomorrow and you're going to race the next day, and that's going to ratchet up the intensity. And listen, as fans and competitors, the more intense it is and the more pressure filled it is, the more fun it is to do.
Right.
And the more fun it is to watch.
Yeah.
And Pocono, by being a doubleheader, it makes it more difficult for the teams. If you're running well, it's a great advantage. If you're not running well, it's a big disadvantage.
Yeah, I always say that. What's bad for teams is always good for us as viewers. If it's more difficult for them, it usually benefits us. One more for you. The track that we just left, Martinsville Speedway, will be under the lights Saturday night of Mother's Day weekend in 2020. I know Martinsville means a lot for you as a home state track. What do you think that means to that region?
A night race at Martinsville is going to be spectacular. I mean, it's going to be amazing. You think about what happens at Martinsville, brake rotors glowing, sparks flying. At night, it's just going to be different. It's going to have a different look, a different feel than it does during the day. Still great racetrack, still the same racetrack, but at the end of the day, I think the night is going to bring a scene that we haven't normally had there before.
All right, great analysis here from the mayor, Jeff Burton. A lot to talk about with the 2020 schedule. We'll keep talking about it on NASCAR America daily, 5 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. Thanks for watching Splash and Go.
Hey NASCAR fans, thanks for checking out the NBC Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe below for the latest NASCAR news, race highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.